In another video I already mentioned the Minolta X500 as my first camera, but it was the XD11 or XD7 as they are called in Europe that made it possible for me to take pictures the way I wanted to do them. The Minolta XD had different names in different markets. In Europe it was called XD7, in Japan Minolta XD, and in North America it was called Minolta XD11. I have no idea how my American model Minolta XD11 found to me in Germany, but for the sake of simplicity I will call it Minolta XD in this video. The Minolta XD came out in 1977 and it was the top of the line model at that time. The camera was co-developed with Leica and the Leica R4 was developed based on it. So the Leica R4 and the Minolta XD have some things in common. When you hold the Minolta XD in your hand, you definitely feel that it's built way sturdier than the Minolta X500, for example. Also, the shutter was developed by Leica and built by Seiko. The combination of the shutter and the very well damped mirror meant that the camera is relatively quiet for a single lens reflex camera from the 1970s. Even when I compare it to my 5D Mark III, it's still very quiet. Single lens reflex cameras have the characteristic that when you take a picture you look through the lens and you are able to see exactly the picture that you are taking. And this means that the light has to be directed through a mirror that flips up and down, which is of course a bit noisier than with rangefinder cameras, for example. The Minolta XD manages this remarkably quiet, and that was one of the main reasons why I chose the Minolta XD. These cameras were available very cheaply for a while, and even though their price has gone up, I still consider them a bargain camera to start with film photography. Also, you can buy very good lenses very cheaply and experiment with different focal lengths to get a feel which focal lengths you like the most. I have linked a video about different focal lengths here. The Minolta XD features a light meter and it was the first camera with aperture priority and shutter priority, and that already 1 year before the legendary Canon A1 came on the market. This is one of the best cameras to start with analog photography in my opinion. The used prices are between 150 and 300 euros, depending on the equipment. Back in the days I used the camera mostly in aperture priority mode, which means I set the aperture and the camera sets the correct exposure time. This way I could concentrate on the composition and the effect of different aperture settings. I still love to use my Minolta XD. It's insanely well made and has the right weight. The quiet shutter release allows me to take advantages of a single lens reflex camera while I'm still not drawing too much attention to myself. The viewfinder is very bright. For focusing, there's a split image in the middle of the viewfinder. You can see a small circle in the center and you focus by superimposing the images in the circle. The light meter adjusts to the aperture you choose and shows what exposure time is needed to properly expose the image. This camera has really allowed me to take a lot of great photos, and this brilliant light meter has allowed me to learn a lot about the technical aspects of photography and exposing an image. There's only one drawback in my opinion. Unfortunately, the camera has no on-off switch, so when you keep it in a bag, the light meter goes on when the shutter button is touched. This can drain your batteries a bit faster. Is this camera a good alternative for street photographers? Well, yes and no. The camera is pleasantly small and unobtrusive. It is quiet, but the focus throw of single lens reflex lenses is always much longer. So you can't focus with them as fast as with Leica M glass, for example. I mostly use the zone focusing technique when I'm shooting street. So yeah, you can get very good results with a single lens reflex camera. But overall my Leica M4P is much faster set up. For this reason the Minolta XD cannot replace my Leica M4P. However, with single lens reflex lenses having a much closer minimal focus distance, this allows me to have much more creativity in my shots. The shutter noise is not too loud and you can definitely move unobtrusively. In my eyes, the Minolta XD is one of the best single lens reflex cameras. The Rocker lenses are all first class, and the fact that I still own and use 2 Minolta cameras should speak for itself. What's your favorite film camera? Let me know in the comment section. That's it, I hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe.